Up into me, emphasis is on a head down towards the floor to keep that shoulder pinned. You can gather up double underhooks, okay? This is great. Or you can choose to gather your partner's head and arm and then run their hips down as usual, looking to come up to the shoulder line, okay? Plenty of other things you can do. You can also put the knee on mount, go to knee on belly, all of these things. We're focusing on getting our partner's legs out of the way. So we start here. We put our right foot forward. We use our rear hand, that's our left hand, to pull, and we get our partner pulling back. So we lower and step, and then we commit our knee towards the mat into this space here. Once we get to this position, chest heavy over our partner's chest, head down towards the floor. As Chris goes to push, we can gather this arm. When he goes to turn his knees to the inside, it's too late. We can run them down and pin. Okay, so one more time. We're facing our partner. We put our right leg forward, and critically, we have good posture. You cannot have your head up high here. Okay, if you start collar tying from here, you're inviting your partner to get grips on your legs. So head low, collar tie. He reacts. We take our underhook here, and then look how we commit our hips down towards the floor. We bring our head forward, chest forward, and we gather up our partner's arm to pin them here. One critical element of this knee cut is the idea that when you move through it, it's happening kind of quickly, but when you move through it, you focus on your hips leading the way. Okay, your head does come forward, but we discussed the importance of convex body position and concave body position. When you commit your knee to the mat, you want to get your underhook and then allow your hips and your knees to do the work, not your head. So what do I mean by that? I mean, when I go collar tie here, I don't want to stay concave with my hips back and try to drive from this position. Instead, once we get here, head comes high, and that allows the hips to hinge forwards, okay, rather than like this. Here. Okay, so it's almost an exaggerated movement where the hips lean forward, the body goes flat or convex even, rather than staying rounded and concave. Okay, and then as always with knee cuts, you're taking your knee and shin across your partner's thigh, not up the center. Okay, quickest way to lose friends and training partners is to do a knee cut directly up the center. Not usually a good thing. Okay, so we approach, we pull, we get our underhook, and then look, it's head forward, but hips and chest forward also. Okay, almost as if you're falling through into the space, and then you can move your body up to the top position. So you have a method where you're using a collar tie. Previous method, you used hand position, where we quickly close the distance between being at long range, standing versus seated, to mid-range, almost non-existent, just right through into the pass. So now, when we're talking about knee cuts, let's introduce the split squat as an interim position where we can stage our attacks and use it as a way of working through some of our partner's defenses and then get into our knee cut. The two previous methods involved us getting minimal connection, using some kazushi, and gaining the all-important underhook so that we could take our knee and cut it through the space of our partner's two knees. When you work in a split squat, it's a little bit more deliberate. Okay, you have to have a sense of balance, weight distribution, and then understanding what it is exactly that you're supposed to be doing with your hands when it comes to working from here. So the split squat, we can enter into it from another seated versus standing position. We can tie up at our partner's hands, we can post, and then we're going to take our, in this case, it's going to be our right leg, we're going to step it through, and we're going to drop down into a position that looks like this. So essentially, it's the beginning of a knee cut, okay? And sometimes we'll elect to move here. Okay, your partner may put in a De La Riva hook. They may simply use their knee and their arm to prevent you from getting your knee to the floor. But we'll often kind of either arrive here as a way of a kind of, again, an interim position, either because we didn't want to use a more athletic method, like the two that we saw before, where we just kind of throw our body through, or because we arrived here from a different sort of position. It's also possible that we were working, say, in a half guard, and we took our knee through the space, and then we're able to move up into a position like this. So this split squat is characterized by one leg that's out and one leg that's in. Your arms, we're going to talk about what your arms need to do, but essentially, your goal here is to take your knee down to the floor so that your hips and as much of your body as possible can occupy the space between your partner's two knees. And your partner wants the opposite. Okay, what Chris wants is he wants to take his knee and usually create a barrier, okay, a knee shield like this. And if my balance is off, what he'll do is he'll use that shield to push me backwards and either sit me on my hip, or he'll just use it to push us back into a place where he can get his feet back in front. One of the virtues of hanging out here and establishing this position is that it takes your partner's major pushing surface, that's the soles of their feet, and puts it behind you. When you're facing a partner, particularly who's supine, they're able to take their feet and use the soles of their feet to back you up. When you move directly into a split squat position, you can see that Chris's feet are behind me. So he's not able to use his feet to push me back. He can, however, use his knees and his hands. So we have to understand how to work from here. Generally, what we're trying to do initially is take our hand to our partner's hip or rib cage. And then, as we saw with the double inside position, flare our elbow out and drop our shoulder so that we can occupy this space. When Chris goes to push me back from here, we want to establish this not a convex position, but a concave position so that we can keep our shoulders below the line of our partner's knees. If we stay here, we'll often find that our partner can take that knee and push our arm out of the way. They can drop that knee and start to frame across our hip. So as a rule of thumb, we like to take our hand here to our partner's rib cage and bring our shoulder through underneath. When Chris goes to push his knee forward, I want to keep my head down in an effort to occupy this space. Now, as soon as possible, we want to get an underhook. So often what you'll find is your partner's posting, pushing, doing all of the things, and you can take your arm and simply place it here on the floor. Now, it's not a traditional underhook in the sense that your partner's arm is floating over your arm. But even so, you can take your right hand and control your partner's shoulder. When Chris goes to recover his elbow position now, he gives me the underhook. This hand, we want our arm to be able to go around our partner's head. Chris is going to be posting usually on the bicep here to prevent me from locking hands. So never try to go around your partner's arm. Instead, you're going to take your arm to the inside, gather your partner's head, and then very important here, it's a good idea to bring your head forward. As Chris goes to frame and push and all of these things, I want to bring my head forward towards the mat. Okay, this is going to help to pin that far shoulder. Then from here, you can use your second leg to free your trapped leg. Okay, and now we're ready to climb up to the top position. So, from a slightly different angle, your partner's seated. You touch post, take a step, and move here to the inside position. If you stay high, your partner will bring a knee shield in. So as soon as possible, we shrink our hand back and use our forearm inside our partner's inside our partner's leg. Then we take our shoulder and bring it below the line of our partner's knee here. Notice once again that the head is playing an important role. We want to have our head touching our partner's far shoulder. As Chris goes to push me away, I'm just leaning into this position here. When he goes to bring the knee shield across, he finds it very, very difficult. As we're working from here, we take our right hand off the hip, punch it forward, and we bring it high. If you can get a conventional underhook, great. But even if he goes to frame on your face here, you can use this hand to hold your partner's shoulder and then bring your head up over the top. When he goes to control the bicep here, we simply pummel through, gather up our partner's head, slide up to the hip, to the shoulder line, and we're ready to pin. So one more time from here. Seated, post, step, drop into position. Retract the arm and put the hand on the hip. Take your shoulder under your partner's knee. Okay, we don't want to have his knee here. We want to take our shoulder, put it underneath. Now our head is here. We've got a head on the top shoulder. My second hand is just monitoring Chris's knee here. I'm going to take that knee, put it down here on the floor, and lean a bit. As Chris goes to push, we take our forearm, put it on the mat. If his arm gets stuck across the center line, that's not an issue. He's usually going to recover it here, and as that happens, we simply gather it up. Now, from here, gather your partner's arm, move your body up into the top position, and you're ready to pin. So, what we have here is a situation where we're not flying through the space the way that we were doing with the 2 earlier knee cuts. We establish this solid position and we're sitting our weight down on our partner's leg. A couple of things to think about when you're doing a split squat. So when you're doing the split squat here, it's really important that your partner is bearing your weight. Right now, because I'm talking and just kind of hanging out, you'll see that my posture is a little bit compromised. I have my toes on the mat, the right foot's on the mat, and there's not that much weight on Chris's leg here. Okay, the left leg is bent and it's very close, so I'm not really pushing into him. What's happening